Okay, so this timing diagram actually tells us as to how your master slave flip-flop works. So as per our discussions that we had, okay, based on the values of clock, when C is equal to 0, that's when your slave will be enabled. When C is equal to 1, your master will be enabled. Okay, so you can see that these two waveforms, okay, these two waveforms and these two waveforms are a shifted version. So the one that you see for QS and QS bar is a shifted version of QM and QM bar. Okay, so see it as a whole, waveform, and see this as a whole single waveform. So you can see that it's a slightly shifted version. Okay, so that is because it's dependent on the next clock cycle. Okay, so the next one that we'll be looking into is master slave JK flip-flop. So here the output state of a master slave SR flip-flop is undefined upon returning the control input to 0 when S and R both are 1. Okay, so that is one of the disadvantage of having an SR flip-flop. Okay, so what was the disadvantage? Whenever your S and R both are high, okay, whenever these states both are high, I'm getting an invalid output. So I want to control this. So to control, instead of using an SR flip-flop, I'll be using the JK flip-flop. Okay, so in order to control this undefined state. Okay, so I hope you are following. Right? Undefined and S and R both are 1. Okay, fine. So it's important for us to avoid this. So master slave JK flip-flop allows its two information input lines to be simultaneously one, results in toggling of the output of the flip-flop. So toggling is somewhat okay than invalid outputs. Okay, so what we will do here is to the same SR flip-flop, we will make some modifications. As usual, you have S, you have R, you have your C, Q, Q bar, SR, Q, Q bar. Okay, this is for your master, this is for your slave. You have your inverter, okay, and an inverter connected to your enable lines. Fine. Now J, okay, S is connected to an AND gate, R is also connected to an AND gate. Just that, okay, just that the AND gate will have an input as J and K. The other input is actually coming from the Q bar. So J and Q bar will be the input to S. Similarly, K and Q. K and Q will be the input to R. So by doing this, what we're going to do, we are going to save the invalid state. How are we going to save? Because one of them, if this is higher, I will have a low value. If this is higher, I will have a low value here. So ultimately, we can pick up those values. And if one of the values are low, okay, then what is going to happen? Since it's an AND gate, what is going to be my output? Output, what is it going to be? I'm going to get a 1 if both are high, right? So if one of the inputs are 0, then I'm going to get a 0. So that's the property of an AND gate. Okay, fine. So now let us take the first case. Okay, let us assume in the first state when C is equal to 0, J and K both are 1. Okay, and we will quickly see what is going to happen. So your JK is 1. Okay, so I'm giving 1, 1, and what is my C? C is equal to 0. Okay, C is equal to 0, J and K both are equal to 1. So when C is equal to 0, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Your master is actually disabled. Okay, so since this is disabled, your slave is enabled. Whatever are the outputs here, okay, that will come and sit here. Okay, QM and QM bar, those outputs will come and be available here. Due to the feedback, the output of J gate is 0. Okay, so what is going to happen? Since nothing is here, okay, since this is disabled, there is no outputs. Okay, so what is going to happen? We are going to get the value, okay, 0. The output of J gate is 0. Okay, how is it 0? Because there is nothing here. Okay, so okay, the output of j is 0 and the output of k is equal to 1. Okay, so if I assume that this is 0, okay, so this should be 1. So 1 into 1 will give me 1. So ultimately what is going to happen? The value of j is going to be 0 and the output of k is equal to 1. If clock is changed from C is equal to 1, so which means if this is enabled, okay, if this is enabled, if this is made 1, okay, then what is going to happen? Then the master is reset. Okay, so when I say when the master is reset, since it is a 0 here, 0 means reset, 1 means set. So j values are followed. So j comes in here. Okay, so you can remember or you can recall your flip-flops table. Okay, truth table. I will just put it across and we'll be able to see that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, you should remember, this truth table. This truth table is also necessary for you to understand. So whenever I have a 0, 0, okay, then the memory input, memory comes here. Okay, whatever was there in memory, that is in the output. So whenever it is 0, 1, then j is followed 0 comes. Whenever it's 1, 0, then 1 comes. 1, 1, then it will get into a toggle state. It's not giving me an invalid state. Remember, when it was an SR flip-flop, okay, SR flip-flop, whenever it's 1, 1, it's giving me an invalid output. Okay, but that case is actually solved when I use a JK flip-flop. Whenever I have a 1, 1, it's actually just giving me a reverse of Q. Okay, so that's the property that we actually need. Okay. Fine. Okay, so now let's go to the next case. Okay, assuming 0 state. Okay, uh, so when I say one state, okay, when I say one state, which means that your q is equal to 1. Okay, that is what is meant by one state. Students, you are following? Students, can you
Yes,
follow?
sir.
Yeah, okay. Now let us take the next state. Assume 0 state. 0 state means I'm getting 0 output. So ultimately when I'm having 0 output, okay, so which means my q is equal to 0 and ultimately my q bar is equal to 1. Okay, and 0 state and c is equal to 0. So which means I have a 1 here. Okay, j k are 1 1. Okay, now that we know 1 is going to come here. Okay, so I'm going to have a 1 here. Okay, and then 0 is going to come here. Okay, so I'm going to have a 0 here. So 1 into 0, 0. Since this is disabled, okay, so master is not working, but then my slave is enabled. Okay, and previously what was the output? That output will actually come and sit here. Okay, due to the feedback, the output of j gate is 1. Okay, that is what we have got. Okay, and the output of k gate is 0. That is what we have got. If clock is changed to C is equal to 1, okay. Now suddenly if I make C is equal to 1, which means if I enable this, then the master is set. How is it set? Because J is equal to 1. Okay, whenever J is equal to 1, it is set. So how do I call that it is set? My QM will become 1, okay, and QM bar is going to become 0. Understood, students? Any doubts here? Any doubts here?
No,
Bit
sir.
by bit you should take. Bit by bit you should take. First you should take zero state. Zero state means this is the output state. Then I'm giving the value of enable. Then I'm giving the values of
But sir,
input.
what is zero state and one state?
Zero state means zero output. One state means one
Oh,
output.
okay.
That's it. Simple.
Okay, sir.
This is nothing but telling what is the value of Q. Q value. That's all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So final is my final. Whatever I have here now, final. So that final state. So if I'm getting a 1 as my output, I call it as one state. If I get it as 0, see, ultimately what is happening, this full thing is just like a black box. Black box means something is inside. I do not know what is inside. I am only bothered what is J, what is K, what is my output, right? So my inputs are here. These are my inputs, okay? And this is my output here. But as engineers, what we are doing, we are studying as to what is the internal of our circuit. So this internal circuit is what we are studying. Okay. Normal person will only look at what are the inputs and what are the outputs. That's it. But in our design, we actually look at what is inside the black box. Is that clear? Fine.
Yes, sir.
So let us go to the next state, okay, the next assumption. So 1 on J input line and 0 on K input line sets the flip-flop. Set means what? 1. Okay. If one state, then it is unchanged because S and R will be set to 0. If 0 state, okay, I'm just summarizing here. Okay, if 0 state, if this 0 state, then S is set to 1 and R is set to 0. Okay, so whatever we got here, the same thing I have summarized here. So the main important point that you have to know here is 1 on J input line, 0 on K input line will actually set the flip-flop. So it is nothing but the truth table is told here in the form of statement. So can I move to the next slide? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I have a question. 0 on J input, 1 on K input line resets the flip-flop. Why? So in order to answer this question, you should actually put the values individually. Okay, just like how we answered this question, 1 on J input line, 0 on K input line sets the flip-flop. The reverse is also true. 0 on J, 1 on K, reset. A reset means what? 0. I'm going to get a 0 output. Okay. Now, how can I say that I'm getting a 0 output? Whatever is the value of master, that is going to pass on to the slave in the next clock cycle, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Whatever is the values here in the master, those values are going to be passed to the slave. Is this true or false? Students, you're there with me?
True, sir.
Yeah, true. Okay. So as per the truth table that we saw previously, right? So let me go back to the timing diagram here. So it is just a shifted version. Whatever you are seeing here, okay, whatever that you are seeing here, okay. So the same version is actually a shifted version here. It's a shifted version here. Okay, just that this appears first and then this appears next. Okay, so the values are just passed from the master to the slave. Okay, so that's the answer for the question. Okay, so here we just summarize it, okay, in the form of our truth table. So 0 0, I'm going to get whatever was in the memory, which is q and q bar. 0 1 will actually reset, 1 0 will set. Now this case, you see, this was our case of interest, right? 1 1 was our case of interest. So in 1 1 in SR flip flop, what outputs we used to get? Did we get any proper outputs for 1 1? No, right? So which means we were getting an invalid output. But here for 1 1, we are at least getting something, right? That something is the complemented version of my memory. So q bar. So here I'm getting q bar q. Okay. And ultimately, this is Krishna. Can you stop doing that? You think you're playing here in the class? So we are looking at a proper output here. Okay, even though the values are 1 and 1, we are just getting a complemented version of our previous q and q bar. So it becomes q bar and q. So this is your symbol that you have here for j and k, and c is your enable, as you all know. And with this, you can understand that it is an edge triggered. Okay, this kind of symbol actually represents that it is an edge triggered. So it can be a rising edge or it can be a falling edge. So rising edge is nothing but moving from low value to a high value, and falling edge is moving from a high value to a low value. So whenever the signal, okay, I hope you are following what I'm trying to say, high value to low value. Let me, yeah. So here, when I say rising edge, okay, I am going to consider this. When I say that it's going to be falling edge, okay, then I am going to consider this. Okay, so rising edge is from lower value to a higher value, and your falling edge is from a higher value to a lower value. Okay, so that is nothing but called your edge trigger. Fine. So now that we have seen the JK flip flop and we have seen the truth table, we have seen the representation. Remember, J and K is associated with AND gate, and once you have the AND gate, the other input are taken from K is with Q and J is with Q bar. So keep this in mind, because we are going to solve a lot of problems based on these diagrams. Okay, I hope parallelly you guys are making note of it. Okay, because conceptually we are increasing exponentially. Okay, so if in case you are not making note of it, then you will be lost. Okay, so at least you can watch my lectures which I post, so that will be helpful for you. Fine. So this is going to be your master slave flip flop. Okay, wherein you're giving the value j, k, and the similar explanation that we had for the previous one. Okay, your clock goes from low high low high. Okay, so when j is equal to 1, my qm is also 1. So it will be waiting for the next high state. So in the next high state, it's seeing that it's a low value for j, so that low value comes up till the next high state. Is that clear, students, or do you want me to annotate and explain this diagram again?
No, sir.
It's clear, right? Okay. So the same concept you'll have to apply based on your truth table. Okay. So truth table is very important. Now there is something called zeros and one caching. Okay. So catching zeros, catching ones. So maintaining the output values as 0, maintaining the output values as 1. So that is nothing but your zeros and ones catching. Not many times I have seen this question coming up in your semester and examinations, but then since it's there for your syllabus, I thought it's appropriate for us to try and explain as to what this catching is all about. Okay. The master is enabled during the entire period when the control is 1. That we all know. The slave latch in its 1 state, then a logic 1 on K input line causes the master latch to reset. Okay. Slave becomes reset when control signal returns to 0. That is, when C is equal to 0, okay, then C bar is actually given to your slave. So when C bar is given to your slave, so 0's bar is 1, so your slave is enabled. So this is known as zero catching. Okay. So which means in the second pulse, the values which are passed when it is 0 for the master, and when 0 is passed to the slave, it's called a zero catching. The slave latch is in its 1 state. If the slave latch is in its 1 state, which means when the output is 1, then logic 1 on K input line causes the master latch to reset. Okay, so whenever there is a 1 here for K, okay, for K, whenever I give a 1, okay, because it is associated with the other state, okay, with Q, okay, so what is going to happen, since it's an AND gate, okay, the value is going to be reset. This is known as zeros catching. If a subsequent 1 signal on J input line and C is still 1, then master does not become set again due to the feedback not changing. Okay, so which means the same state is continued if J is equal to 1, because previously it was in high state. Okay, if in case it was in high state and then J became 1, okay, and then C is also 1, then it will continue the same state, which is set state. Okay, the same state is it's going to be continued because the slave is disabled, because C is 1 here. When C is 1 for master is enabled, slave is disabled. So which means if 0 was given to slave in the previous cycle, the same 0 is continued. Are you understanding, students, what I'm trying to say? It is nothing but an explanation of this diagram. Okay, so let us see here in your slave. Okay, in your slave, the value is just continued. See, even though K value is changing here, okay, K value is changing here, do you think QM or QS value is changing? Just because K value has changed at this point, is QS value changing? Is QS value changing? Just because K became 1 here at this point, look straight at this line, it's not changing, right? So whatever was the value here for master, the same thing is continued. Okay, so that is called catching, zero catching. So if there is 1 and 1 is getting passed, so it's called 1 catching. Any doubt, students? Is there any confusion here? Any confusion here? Please ask.
Sir, the resetting part, can you explain once again?
The resetting part, when K is, when J is 0, okay, then when K is 1. So let us see that part. Okay. So slave becomes reset when control signal returns to 0. So which means, okay, let us see from the beginning. The master is enabled during the entire period when the control signal is 1. So this one, I think all of you are clear with this point. If the slave latch, okay, if the slave latch is in its 1 state, what do you mean by slave latch being in 1 state? Tell me. Slave,
The output is 1.
Output of slave, which means QS is equal to 1. Okay, QS is equal to 1. Then a logic 1 on K input, a logic 1 on K input line causes the master latch to reset. Okay, so the logic 1 on K input line. So logic 1, so if I'm giving, sorry, if I'm giving a 1 here, logic 1, okay, So this will actually cause, so both cannot be 1 1 at the same time. So if this is 1, this is going to be 0, right? So assuming this is 1, so this is 0, so which means it will, whenever I get a 0 here, what is going to happen to my master? It is going to be reset, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Whenever there is a 0 here, then 0 comes. So which means my QM is 0, but this 0 will not pass here immediately. It will wait for the next cycle. For the next cycle, up till next cycle, QS is maintained as 1. Remember, it was in 1 state. So that QS is maintained at 1. So this 0 is actually kept on hold. It is not passed immediately. So this is nothing but called as 0 catching.
So, sir, the 0 will actually get transferred to the slave on when we
Till
get
the
to know.
next cycle. Till the next cycle. Okay. See here.
Yes, sir.
See here, this value is 0, right? So it is waiting for the next high cycle, next low cycle. So in the low cycle only this 0 is passing.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right. See.
Yes, sir.
Now, when will my slave work? Only when my C is only when my C is 0. C is 0 means what? It will pass through the inverter, and the inverter will give me 1. So that value, okay, whatever is the value here, that will get passed out. Okay, so at 0 value, okay, it will check, and then the master's value is passed to the slave. Understood? So slave is working when C is 0, master is working when C is 1. Is it clear?
So before this instant, it will be held, like the 0 will be held.
Yes, the same value will be held. It will not
Okay,
change.
sir.
So ultimately, it will wait for the master's output. Okay. So it will wait for master's output, and it will wait for the clock to change. So if the clock changes, then only the values are passed. If not, it wouldn't pass.
Yes,
it
sir.
will kept on. It will, the outputs will be kept constant. You have an explanation here. If the slave latch is in 0 state, okay, so that is next case. If the slave latch is in 0 state, okay, logic 1 on J input line, while control signal is 1, causes the master latch to be set. So that is what we explained so far, right? We saw so far. When J is equal to 1, the master is set. When enable is also equal to 1. And slave will be put to set upon the occurrence of the falling edge. So what is falling edge here? Falling edge means the value going from
1 to 0.
Exactly. So that is the falling edge, from higher value to lower value. Okay. So it will wait, the slave will wait for the values to go down. So once it goes down, then this value, okay, the set value will actually be passed on to the slave. Master's value will be passed on to slave. So ultimately, you should understand the master first gets the output, the slave will get the output in the next cycle. So which means at high value, master will change, at low value, slave will change. How will the slave change? Taking the value from the master. It cannot change on its own. Is it changing on its own, the slave? Is the slave changing the values on its own? Am I exclusively giving values only here, S and R? Am I giving values exclusively to slave? No. It is actually dependent on the output of who? Master. Is dependent on the output of master. Okay. And it's very much dependent on the C, the enable part. So whatever the master gives, the slave should take, but not immediately at the next cycle. This is the summary. If you understand just this line, whatever we have studied so far, you will be able to summarize. Understood, students? So this is your zeros and ones catching. So this is known as one catching. Okay, why is it called one catching? Because one was there and then it was waiting for some time till the next cycle, and then one was passed. So one was caught for some time. Okay, so one catching. If zero is caught for some time, it is called zero catching. Okay. So who is catching this value? Now my question, if you answer this question, then you have understood what all I have explained so far. Who is catching this value? I'm waiting for your reply.
It's the slave.
It maintains. Okay, it maintains, which means in the line the values are available. Okay, between master and slave, in the lines the values are available. So which means only when the clock is enabled. So clock can be enabled for your slave or clock can be enabled for your master. So only when the clock is enabled the values are passed. Okay, so in many applications, zeros and one catching behavior is undesirable. Okay, which means they do not need this kind of thing. They want values to be passed on immediately. Normally recommended that J and K input values should be held fixed during the entire interval the master is enabled. So normally they want these values to remain for the entire clock cycle, which wouldn't happen. So it only depends on the 0 and 1 values. Any changes in J, K must occur, J, K must occur while the control signal is 0. Okay. So control signal plays a very important role, enabling master or enabling slave. Accordingly, the values are passed. Okay. So I have put up here, okay, in the form of a diagram and few cases. Okay. So assume one state. Okay, one state means I am getting Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 0. So when C is equal to 1, when C is 1 here, and J is equal to 0, and K is equal to 0, okay, what is happening? What is happening for some time? K sets to 1 briefly. So which means just for small amount of time, my K is actually 1. Why was it 1? Because 1 was already available here, isn't it? So 1 was already available. So this 1 will come here. Okay. So for just small amount of time, the 1 will be available at the gate. Master gets reset, slave will become reset with clock goes to 0. That we have understood. So when 0 comes here, 1 is here, this is enabled. And since it's a 0, okay, since J is getting 0, which means output is also 0. So which means my master is reset. Next clock cycle, the reset phase gets transferred to slave. Is that clear? Students, what all we have discussed so far? Till this point, are you clear? These two lines, have you understood these first two bullets? Yes? Or you want me to annotate and put those values there? I need a response. Have you all
Understood, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine, then K goes to 0. Okay, K goes to 0. That is just for brief amount of time since it was in one state. Remember, see, I'm telling here one state. So which means your Q was 1. Your Q was 1. And your, if Q is 1, we understand that Q bar is 0. Right. Then C is equal to 1. Okay. Then J is equal to 0. Okay. K is also equal to 0. Okay. K sets to 1 briefly, means only for some time it is 1. Why is it 1? Because this 1 will pass here. Okay. So initially there was no value given. So it was considering it as high. And then we passed 0. Right. So just for some time it will be 1. and then it will become 0. Okay, and then it will become 0 because I gave 0 here at k. So anything into 0 will actually give me 0. Initially nothing was given, so it was briefly available as 1 because this 1 passed here. This 1 came here. Okay, so when j goes to 1, what happens? The reverse happens, right? So when j goes to 1, the master will be set, and that value, ultimately your slave also will be set in the next. Okay, slave will become a reset when clock, ultimately your clock is important. Okay, so here if your c is 0, then your master is disabled. If your c is 1, then your master is enabled. So accordingly your master and slave will consequently be on and off. J goes to 1, what happens? So in this state, okay, in this current state, when j goes to 1, what is going to happen? So in this state, when j goes to 1, nothing is going to happen because you have your q bar, right? Sorry, here. Let me just clear. So when j goes to 1, okay, what is going to happen? But initially what we had q bar is equal to 0. So since there is a 0 here and 1 into 0 is 0, it's not. So when j is equal to 1 at that point, which means when we are taking these conditions into consideration, and when j is equal to 1, okay, when I put j is equal to 1, what was my q bar? Q bar is connected to j, so 0 is there, so 0 into 1 is 0, so which means it is going to be remaining in the same state. Is this concept understood, students? Any doubts here up till this concept, up till this slide? Any doubts? We have taken a lot of time in explaining these concepts, right? So any doubts here? Can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will again see the next case, okay, which is going to be for just a moment. So the next that we will be looking into is edge triggered flip-flops. Okay, all this that we have seen was clock based. The master slave SR flip-flop, JK flip-flop, all these were clock based. So now we will be looking into something called edge triggered. Okay, so in basic master slave flip-flops, the master is enabled during the entire period when the control is 1. This can result in zeros and 1 catching. Okay, so because of that, during the entire period, it is on and the slave is off. So the values are held for a certain amount of time. Okay. To avoid this kind of catching problem, what we do is we go with something called edge triggered. So as soon as there is a rising edge and falling edge, immediately the value should be updated. Signals on information lines are restricted from changing during the time the master is enabled. Okay. So whenever the master is enabled, we make sure that the values don't change. Okay. Also, a delay in the output since master's state is established during the positive edge of the cycle and transferred to slave on the negative edge of the clock. Okay. So in the positive cycle, master is enabled, and in the negative cycle, slave is enabled. Edge-triggered flip-flops use just one of the edges of the clock signal. This is referred to as triggering edge. Okay. So only the edges of the clock. What are the edges of the clock? Students, how many edges does a clock have?
2.
2. Okay, so they are rising edge and falling edge, from the lower value to higher value and from higher value to lower value. Response to triggering edge of the output of flip-flop is almost immediate. It depends only on propagation time delay. So that is again one glitch that happens, with respect to edge triggered flip-flops. Okay, delay. Okay, propagation delay is one thing. Once triggering occurs, flip-flop is unresponsive to information input changes until the next triggering edge. So the same concept that we have seen for when clock is 0, your master is disabled. When clock is 1, your master is enabled. Okay. So this is one of the examples of your edge triggered flip-flop. Okay, so you can see that these are cross coupled. Yeah, you have your S bar, R bar latch, then you have your clock given as one of the inputs. Okay, so yeah, so this whole thing is your SR bar latch, S bar R bar latch. We have seen this previously, right? Okay. So in the first case, now let's see the first case. When C is equal to 0, okay, regardless of input at D, whenever C is equal to 0, so 0 goes here, 0 goes here, okay. And so when C is equal to 0, what is going to happen? The output is totally changed. Okay, so I'm going to get a 1 here. Okay, and similarly, when C is equal to 0, 0 into anything is 0, so I'm going to get a 1 here. Okay, so my S bar and R bar will be equal to 1, and the state of latch is held. So if you can recall, we had studied about the S bar, R bar latch. How many of you remember the truth table? Have you made note of the truth table? S bar, R bar latch? Or you want me to share that notes? And you would like to refer it now?
So could we share it?
You're able to see, no? My notes? Yeah. So your S bar, R bar. Okay. So whenever the values are held at 1, what is going to happen? Whatever was in the memory, okay, it is just retained. Q and Q bar. Right? Able to recollect? Right? So you should make note of this truth table. I will tell you, students, SR flip-flop, JK flip-flop, D, T flip-flop, then S bar, R bar flip-flop, all these 5, okay, in fact, yeah, all these 5, you just make a note in one sheet of paper, okay, so that it is going to help you throughout this module. Okay, so you should be knowing the property of your, if you know the property of SR flip-flop, okay, so it's going to be the reverse for your S bar, R bar, right? So you can actually generate an S bar, R bar using your SR flip-flop. Okay. Right. So what is going to happen when it is 1, then the state of the latch is held, which means whatever was in the memory, okay, so it is not going to impact the output here. Now assume when D is equal to 0, okay, when I give 0 here, what is going to happen? 0 into anything is 0, so I'm going to get a 1 here, and 1 is going to come here, and the same 1 will also come here. Okay, so output of gate 4 is 1. Okay, we have seen that. then the output of gate 1 is 0. Okay, why is it 0? Because S bar was what? 1. 1 into 1, 1. So 0. Students following, or you want me to annotate? If you're not able to follow, I will annotate.
Sir, can you annotate?
Yeah. So you really have to be in sync to understand these concepts. Okay, the circuit might look very simple, but the understanding is important. The first point you all understood? When C was 0, okay, so what had happened? 0 into anything is 0, so I get a 1 here, and the same 0 goes here. 0 into anything is 0, so I get a 1 here. So S bar is 1, R bar is 1. So this thing you all are clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. Now let's go to the next one. Assume D is equal to 0. Okay, so I put D is equal to 0. So since my D is equal to 0 here, anything into 0 is 0. So my value is going to be 1 here. So 1 is going to come here, and the same 1 is also going to come here. So 1 was already here. So this 1 will pass here. So 1 into 1 is going to be 1. So which means the output of gate 1 is what? 0. Is it clear? Output of gate 1 is 0. And output of gate 4 is 1. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Students, are you able to follow? Are you following what all I'm trying to annotate?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Okay. So if not, then I can again restart. So I think till here it's clear, isn't it? Fine. When C goes to 0, when C goes to, when C goes to 1. Okay, so from 0, we are actually now changing to 1. Okay, we are changing C to 1. So when I change C to 1, all inputs to gate 3 are 1. Okay, so here also I'm getting 1. Here also it is 1. Okay, why is it 1? Because this 1 will pass here. Okay, and the other one, yeah, the clock I have made 1, right? So all 3 inputs will become 1. Is this clear? All inputs to gate 3 will become 1. So the output will change to, from 1, what is it going to be? It will become 0, since all are 1. Okay, so the output changes to 0. Output of gate 2 remains at 1. Output of gate 2 remains at 1, since the output of gate 1 is 0. Okay, so since it is 0 here, anything into 0 is actually 0. So the 1 will just remain as it is. Okay, so 1 will remain as it is. So S bar is equal to 1 and R bar is equal to 0. So S bar is 1 and R bar is 0. So the output of gate 3, okay, will be equal to 0. Okay, so this is fed to gate 4. Okay, so this 0 will come here and it will sit. Okay, this is 0. This 0 will come and it will sit here to gate 4. Output of gate 4, okay, and gate 1 is not affected by changes to D. So which means 0 into 0 is what? 0, 1. So previously it was 1. It's not changing, right? So the gate 4 is not changed. And then gate 1 is also not changed. The same values are retained. It's not affected by changes to D. So till this point, have you understood, students?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, we will move on. Assume C is equal to 0. Okay, the next point. next state. Choose some dark. Yeah. Assume C is equal to 0. Now I will make C is 0. C is 0 and D is equal to 1. The outputs of gates 2 and 3 will be 1. Okay. So 1 into 0 is 0. So gate 4 is 1. Okay. So that is verified. Output of gate 1. Assume C is equal to 0. Okay, so when C is equal to 0, so 0 comes here. Okay, so the gate's output is changed to 1. So 0 into anything is 0. So this 0 will now become 1. So when this becomes 1, okay, the value is actually passed here. So 1 into 1 is 1, and the value from 1, it will become 0. Okay, so the output of gate 4 becomes 0. So is this concept clear? Then the output of gate 1, okay, is 1. Why is it 1? Because we can see that the value is changed. Okay, so which means your let me just look into it. When C, the output of gate 1 is 1, the output of gate 4 is 0. Okay, yeah, so this 0 will actually pass here, and from 1 it will become 0. So 0 into 1 is what? 0, and the value is going to become 1. Okay, so the value of gate 1 is also 1. When C goes to 1, okay, now let us change the next case. So when C becomes 0 now, okay, when C is 0, sorry, when C goes to 1, when C goes to 1, when C goes to 1, so we will not be using this. Yeah. When C goes to 1, the output of gate 2 is 0. Okay, so how is it 0? Because 1 is passing here. Okay, so 1 into 0 is 0. So the output of gate 2, so the clock is given here 1, 1. So this 1 will pass here. Okay, so which means it becomes 1 into 1, 1. So my output is going to be 0. Remember, the previous 1 will come and sit here. Okay. So gate 2 is what? 0. Okay, gate 2 becomes 0. So the output of gate 3 remains at 1. So let us see the output of gate 3. So now this 0 will come and sit here. Okay, will come and sit here. So anything into 0 will actually become 0, and the output is still remaining at 1. So there is no change in your value of the output of gate 3 is 1. So what is the final value here? 0 and 1. Okay. So S bar is equal to 0. Okay, and R bar is equal to 1. So this is our final values. These values that you see here. Okay. Output from gate 2. Okay. Students, you're able to see the screen, right? Are you able to hear me? So this is how you actually analyze and you check, bit by bit you can put, and you can check where it is connected, how the values are going, okay, and ultimately check the values of S bar and R bar. And based on the truth table that I showed previously, okay, so you can decide what is going to be the outputs of Q and Q bar. So this concept, students, are you all clear? Edge triggered flip-flops. Are you clear with this concept? How the circuit works? I have given a complete explanation here, right? So with the previous annotations, I think you were able to understand as to what's exactly happening, isn't it? Have you all understood?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Yeah. So summarizing those, we will actually just give the truth table to whatever logic that we applied in the previous slide. Okay, where we gave C is equal to 0, then D was 0, then C is 0, D was 1, what all happened. Okay, so all that is summarized here in our truth table. Okay, so ultimately that you can understand here is when D is equal to 0, Q was 0, when D was 1, your Q was 1. Now this rising, this arrow that you see here, okay, the arrow which is actually facing on top, okay, showing on top, it means that it is responding to an edge triggered which is rising edge. Okay, it's a rising or positive edge triggered D flip-flop. Okay, so this is the circuit of your positive edge triggered D flip-flop. This is the logical diagram, okay, and this is the function table, or we can call it as truth table. Now Q plus, okay, Q plus denotes the output Q, okay, and your Q bar is nothing but the complement of Q, and these will be the symbols of your D flip-flop. So how does your D flip-flop work? D flip-flop, whatever is the inputs, the same thing will be your output, but then with a certain amount of delay. So 0 as the input, output is 0. 1 as the input, output is 1. So when clock is 0, don't care, which means previous terms are maintained. Again, when clock is 1 and you don't have any input given, then the same state is continued. So knowing the truth table, so I think now you know the importance of a truth table, isn't it? So truth table is very um, important, where it tries to relate between the input parameters and the output parameters. Okay, so this is the symbol. D is the input, Q and Q bar is the output. D is the input, Q and Q bar. As I told you, few authors refer directly give here as Q bar, and few authors give here as a bubble. Okay, so bubble is nothing but referring to the complemented version of Q. Okay, so we will just look into this timing diagram here. Okay, and then probably in the next class we will look into the GK flip-flop. Okay, fine. So we'll just look into the timing diagram. Next class we will look into negative edge trigger. So here in the timing diagram, just like how we had the truth table, the same way that we actually analyze things. So the edge triggered, this is what I was talking to you about, the edge triggered. So here also it has setup time and hold time. So during the positive edge, whatever is the value of D comes down as Q. Okay, so it is responding only to positive edge. Negative edge, what is happening? In the negative edge, it is still high. Okay, but and slowly it is coming to low value. But is there a change in the value of Q? Is there a change in the value of Q? Students, respond.
No change, sir.
Yeah, see, from this point to this point, there is no change at all, even though your clock has changed. So it is waiting for this part, for the rising part of the clock. So once the rising edge comes here, okay, it sees the value is 0. So after the hold time, that 0 will come and sit here. Okay. Similarly, it will look for the next rising edge. Okay. So at this rising edge, it was high. The value was 1 here. So that 1 comes and sits here. This value will be maintained till the next high value. Okay. So in this value, it is actually low here. After the hold time, it is 0. So that 0 will come and sit here. Then as you all know, your Q and Q bar are complemented to each other. 0, 1, 1, 0, okay, and so on. So, okay, so this is during your setup and hold times, which is represented as TSU and TH. We have seen this also, in our yesterday's class. So this is with respect to triggering edge of the clock, where D is an input and it should not change at the same time. Okay, D and your clock should not change at the same time. So if it changes at the same time, then what is going to happen? Students, if your input and clock is going to change at the same time, what is going to happen? We are going to see something called unpredictable state. Okay, fine. So I think we will stop here. Okay, and we will continue our discussions in the next class.